Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my review of Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. Okay, so as usual there will be a spoiler-free section and then I will jump into spoilers and I will warn you before I do so. So Bloodmarked is the sequel to Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. So if you have not read that book, you need to go back and read that first and then come back. But essentially what Legendborn is it is a YA fantasy where our main character, Bree, after the death of her mother, decides to attend early college because it is the one that her mother went to, and she's trying to find a way to feel connected to her mother. She shows up, her first week there, she witnesses a demon attack and watches the demon get killed by another student. And she starts to take interest in this, and next thing she knows, she is infiltrating essentially this secret society that is based on King Arthur and the Round Table and that kind of thing. So it does deal with Arthurian legend. That's kind of like the fantasy element of this, on top of the fact that there are literal demons. So this is the follow-up to that. It picks up pretty close after the events of Legendborn end. And I will go ahead and say that I rated it 5 stars. I liked this better than the first book. There was a lot more action and things going on, I feel like, than the first book. So I did like this one better than Legendborn. I gave it 5 stars. I think I gave Legendborn 4 stars. It was absolutely amazing. So here are my non-spoiler thoughts of the book. Okay, so there's not much that I did not enjoy about this book. I will say it was still kind of hard to remember the things that have to do with the order and the lines of succession and that kind of stuff, because I'm not I don't know a lot about King Arthur and the Round Table, so those parts can get kind of confusing, especially because this book jumps right in, and it's been a while since the first book came out, and so at first I was very confused because I had forgotten everything from the first book, and so it did take me a minute to adjust and get back into this world, but when I did, it was amazing. Okay, so my spoiler-free thoughts on what I liked. I enjoyed the plot. It was very fast-paced. It picks up from the beginning and it just keeps going. Thing after the next, one thing after the next, and it doesn't stop until the very end. And I love it when a book is fast-paced and you just can't put it down, especially with fantasy. I really enjoy the way that they expanded the fantasy part of this world more of is it just the Order? Is it just root crafters? Is there other magic out there? They do talk about that in this book. I'm going to talk about more of this in depth in the spoiler part, but Bree's journey through grief and dealing with ancestral trauma is addressed a lot in this book, and her dealings with racism and being literally the only person of color in the Order and how they treat her because of that was a big part of this book that I think was done really well. On top of that, she also, I feel really grows to accept her powers and to embrace other parts of herself other than just being a part of the Order, which I really enjoyed. And the love triangle is addressed once again, which is entertaining for us romance readers. So I did really enjoy that part of this book as well. I really just can't talk about this without spoilers, so I'm going to get into spoilers now. So if you have not read this book, go read it and come back if you don't want to be spoiled. Selwyn Kane right here. I do love that man. I'm always drawn to the dark boys, and he is that. There was kind of a love triangle set up in Legendborn between her and Selwyn and Nick. I was never team Nick. I don't go for the golden retriever type boys, and that's what he is. And there's a lot of tension between these two in this book, which I really enjoyed, and I also liked to see the fact that they have connections outside of their romance, his mom and her mom, that sort of thing. So that was really interesting to see as well. She cares so much about him as a person, and her being invested in his mom's story and finding his mom shows a lot that she cares about him. And so that they also have that kind of underlying connection, but there was a lot of tension, and I very much so enjoyed the tension. Also, on the topic of Nick, I don't know how I feel about Nick anymore. I was never team Nick, but I didn't really like him after this book. He was extremely selfish. he runs, like, he's been kidnapped or whatever, and they have the opportunity to save him, and he chooses not to go with them. But he's supposed to love her. And I feel like it wasn't really giving that for me, and he was just, I mean, I get at the end, he, like, kind of comes to help, but, like, I was not vibing with Nick at all in this book. At all. Did not like him at all. So, there's not a lot of him, but there is some of him, and what there was, I didn't love. Another thing we got in this book is there's more than just the root crafters. There's more than just the order. We got to see some warlocks in this book, and kind of the situation where these warlocks are dealing with trades between humans and demons for power and magic. And that was very interesting. The entire scene with the Crossroads bar had me stressed out. I was like nervous to to read the whole thing because I was scared something bad was going to happen. But it did turn out to be a good thing, because that whole situation led to Bree being able to get help and get connected to more people in her, like, root crafting culture. The scene where she is, like, calling to each one of her ancestors to, like, ask them for help, and the very first one obviously is her mother, and she goes to hug her mother, and it's just, like, honestly heartbreaking to, like, read, because I couldn't imagine, like, I know there are people that have gone through that, and I just don't know how I'd be able to handle, like, losing my mom. And so watching her, like, call upon her mom and getting to talk to her and hug her, and her mom telling her she's proud of her, and, like, to tell her dad, like, that she loves him and all that kind of stuff was really heartbreaking. But I am glad the scene did make it into this book. Another huge thing, like, on the topic of her, like, going to see the root crafters and kind of get into that, I really enjoyed that she learned to embrace that power. And, like, I know that Arthur is in the back of her mind, but she learns to embrace her root more than her ether, whatever it's called, from the Arthur side of things, which I enjoy. Like, I liked that. Like, that is the part of her that she really should be embracing, and I kind of liked that she rejected Arthur in a way for a while in this book, because, I mean, no one accepts her from that. Why would she want to be a part of something like that, even though she's, like, kind of sucked into it now? So that was really interesting as well. And on the topic of things, I hate King Arthur. He sucks. He's terrible, manipulative, and he doesn't deserve to have all these people, like, obsessed with him. He doesn't deserve it. So there's that. Okay, and the moment that we have been waiting for, let's talk about the ending of this book. So 10 out of 10. Selwyn gave his humanity up to save her. Let me repeat that. Selwyn gave his humanity up to save her. And now he's just, like, straight demon. I am, like, hoping and praying that that's going to get resolved in the next book, because I just can't accept that. On top of the fact that Alice, who is a side character that I really enjoyed, is in a coma. When Bree sits there and talks to her, I mean, it hurt to, like, read that. So I'm hoping Alice will come out of that, because I can't accept any of these people dying. Like, I'm not okay with that. And to top it all off, the big plot twist where the Shadow King, the hunter who has been coming for Bree this whole time, that has bloodmarked her, is actually one of the people from the Order. He's been, like, disguised as him, and she essentially bargains with him that if he takes Selwyn to see his mother in hopes that his mother can fix him, she will go with him. Because he can't kill her yet, not until she's at the height of her power, so that he can consume her power. I'm sure there will be a way to work around this and she'll get out of that deal, because there will, I mean, it's got to be at least 3 books, if not more, because of the way that it left with her just leaving. So there's no way that she's just gonna, like, give up like that. So I know she's probably plotting something in the back of her head, and I'm very interested to see where that goes. So if the orientation changed, my card got full, so I had to fix that. But we're back. So as I was kind of saying, is I'm sure there will be a book 3. There's a lot of questions about whether or not these characters are going to be okay, and a lot of what ifs. So maybe 3, maybe more. I would assume 3. So I'm really excited to see like how all of these things get resolved. But I have to say my biggest joy is when a book does not go through the second book syndrome. So I'm really happy that this was not just filler, like it had its own plot and it was still really good. Alright, and that is kind of just my review. This is really scrambled because it's hard to talk about a book, and like there's a lot in this book to talk about, and so it's all over the place. So I apologize for that, but I did really enjoy this book, and I definitely think that you should pick this series up. It is a must read. I've recommended it to people. So 100%, if you have the opportunity, pick up Legendborn and Bloodmarked and add it to your TBR. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.